All right, this is SSL Family Dad with Simple Sustainable Living, and today we're talking all about chicken breeds. All right, so we're out here in the SSL family barnyard, I guess you'd call it. This is kind of a multi-use pasture-y type area connected to our barn where we have our temporary chicken coop. Right now our chickens are in a pole barn chicken coop, so they're built into a stall and they have access to the outside here. Today I want to talk about chicken breeds. So if you're looking to get chickens, I know it's a little late this year. Most people have already gotten their chickens in April, but usually March, April, and even early May is when people are buying chickens. You're buying your chicks. And there's a lot of choices. There's a whole lot of information out there. There's a whole lot of different breeds and different choices you can make. And so I'm going to try to run through some of the things that I found to be useful from our suburban chicken coop. Our small lot, you know, small production, to this kind of larger 50 plus chickens type of kind of a farm scenario. So the one thing that you need to decide, the first thing you need to decide is, what are your chickens going to be used for? Do you want to slaughter them for meat? Do you want them to lay eggs for you? Or do you want them to do both? There are lots of different options. One resource I can tell you that I have found very helpful is McMurray. I think it's called McMurray's Hatchery, and I'll put a link in the description to their site. You can order their baby chicks online there. I've never ordered from them, but their site has a really great database of information and pictures on the different breeds and the differences between them. So if you've decided that you want egg layers, they're only going to be egg layers, you're going to use them to lay eggs as long as they can lay eggs, then there are a few really good breeds to choose from. I'll show you some of the ones that we have here that we've had experience with. Okay, so the first breed I want to talk about is the Isa Brown. Now, the Isa Browns are very popular because they're what's called a sex-linked chicken, meaning that they have a different color whether they're male or female, so they're very easy to distinguish. So that's one of these guys right here. They're kind of tan or brown, and sometimes they have some white speckles on them as well. Now, the nice thing about the Isas is that they're very heavy egg layers. They don't live as long as some other chickens. They're definitely not going to be considered a meat bird. They're not very big, but they are great egg layers. They will lay year round with the, you know, provide them a little bit of light in the winter. They lay just consistent. They're very consistent, nice, brown, good, awesome eggs. We had these in our suburban coop, great chickens. The only disadvantage to the Isas that I have found is that they are a little bit aggressive compared to some of the other breeds. So that is something that you want to be careful of and watch out for. If you're having a lot of chickens in a small area like we had in our suburban coop, that was one of the issues we found. They did pick on one of our chickens, and for those of you who follow along, you know Bloody Mary. She's in a different coop, but I'll put a link there to all the videos we had about the picked on chicken and what to do about that. All right, so one of the other breeds we have here is various breeds of Americanas. There's different names for them, but Easter eggers, whatever you want to call it. There's a couple different kinds in here. We didn't buy this flock, and so I'm not sure exactly what kind these are, but these are the ones that lay our bluish green eggs. There's ones that lay pink. There's other, you know, different colored Americanas, but that Americana gene is what gives those different colored eggs. Another one out here, that Americana, you can see the speckled feathers. Now those ones, they've been very consistent layers. They're a little bigger bird. They wouldn't be a dual purpose, so you wouldn't use those for meat. They're just egg layers. So those ones, the Americanas, I haven't seen causing too much trouble in the flock. I do see them fighting back and forth with the Isas at times and things like that, but they seem to be fairly docile. And when I'm talking about aggression with these, even the Isas, just know that none of them are aggressive towards humans. They're not ever never going to hurt you, but they will they will hurt each other, and there's a dominance thing with some breeds. So you can also see one of our Rhode Island roosters here. This is the biggest one. We don't have any Rhode Island hens, although the Isa Browns are a cross of a Rhode Island breed. But the Rhode Island rooster has been awesome. This is the most dominant one. We have 3 roosters in here, and this one kind of runs the show, and they will set their dominance with the other ones. Not extremely aggressive with the other birds, but definitely dominant over the other breeds, and this one runs the whole flock. So one of the things I've been doing is using these black soldier fly larvae treats. A company called Tasty Grubs sent these out to me to try, and these are a great thing to give chickens. They're actually very healthy for them, and it's nice for you really want to interact with your flock as much as you can, because you don't want them to be afraid of you. You want them to come to you, especially if they get out and things like that. They're a lot easier to catch and stuff. So I like to give them treats whenever I can. I usually give them a little bit each day, and so those things have been awesome to have. So you'll see this big black one here. These are called black Cochins, Cochin. Those are a very large brown egg layer. They are my favorite birds here. They are by far the most docile chicken I have ever seen. They are just absolutely extremely friendly. They are so timid, and they stay out of everyone's way. They don't really run away from you too much. They're fairly slow moving. They're a very large bird, and they have feathers. I don't know if I can get a good shot of them here, but they have feathers all the way on their feet, all the way down on their feet. So they're kind of interesting birds. But this I think would be considered a dual purpose. I think they have that on the site, the black Cochins. So if you're interested in doing a dual purpose where you could maybe have them lay eggs for the first year and then harvest them for meat, or harvest some for meat, those would be a bird that you probably could do that with. But my favorites, extremely friendly. If you're looking for something that you really want as like more of a pet, those birds will serve you very well. They would work very well for that. In a small coop, you could probably have, in our suburban coop even, you could have probably 6, 8 of them, and they'd never have any issues. If you're looking at white egg layers, this is an Andalusian, I believe they're called. That one right there, it's got the white kind of ears on the side of its neck there, and real upright comb. And those are really good birds. I generally don't go for white egg layers, but this came with the flock we got kind of donated to us. They've been very good birds. They seem extremely docile. They get along with all the other chickens, and our dog wants to play with the goats. But very nice chickens. And again, if you're looking for white egg layers, I can't say you can go wrong with these guys. They also seem to be very prolific layers. In the winter time, when we barely had any eggs, we did have white eggs pretty consistently. So they do lay pretty heavily even in the winter. When you supplement them with light, they'll lay straight through the winter. So Bloody Mary's out free ranging today, so she had to come join the party. She likes those little soldier fly larvae treats. These chickens, I tell you what, when I get those things out, they come running. So we also have the buff Orpingtons. I think this one is a white, and that's a buff. I'm not sure if there's just a color variation in the breed. They're very similar in size to the Isa Browns. They're also a very heavy, nice sized brown egg layer. And they seem to be fairly docile, somewhere in the middle, I would say. They're not the most docile birds that we have, but they, like this one right here, is kind of hanging out with Bloody Mary, and Bloody Mary is not with this flock, so generally they immediately start attacking, but you can see these ones kind of hanging out together, so that's usually a good sign. A lot of people always ask about our cats and our dogs and all that kind of stuff. Chickens are great animals to have with just about anything. We've had them in with our goats, obviously. We have them in with our pigs. The cats are around them, the dog, and we've never had any issues, luckily. We have a black lab who's very, very kind, I guess, with the animals, but you know, we've never had any issues with the cats. The chickens actually chase the cats around, and they are very friendly with the pigs and all that kind of stuff, and the goats also. So never really had an issue with any of them. This is also one of the roosters we have. This is one of the Cochin roosters, and that is a mammoth bird. I'm telling you right there, that's the heaviest bird we have. I don't know how much it weighs, but he's big. He is very, very docile. The big Rhode Island will come in and he hides in the corner. So, you know, he's the same breed as these females here. I can't tell you guys enough how awesome and docile that breed is. The roosters too. I mean, you could have this rooster in the city. Honestly, it never even makes any noise. Great bird. So with this rooster, if you did a straight run of these Cochins, I can't see why you couldn't use these again for a dual purpose as a meat bird. I don't know what kind of meat they have. I've never done that myself, but size wise, they're definitely big enough for that. So what kind of chickens should you get? Well, if you're looking for the ultimate egg laying machines, the Isa Browns are great. Just make sure you have enough room to keep them spread out, let them free range, that kind of thing, and they'll be fine. They are probably one of the highest egg producers you can get. If you're looking for the most docile, friendly pet chickens, those Cochins they're just awesome. Very, very cool chickens. They lay great layers. They lay through the winter. They're very winter cold hardy birds. They're definitely a northern climate bird for sure. If you're looking for meat chickens, there's a lot of options out there for meat chickens. I'm not a huge fan of the hybrid like leghorns and stuff like that they grow so quickly that they can't even support themselves once they reach maturity. Not a huge fan of that. They've been bred for the giant breasts on the chickens and all that kind of stuff for meat. That's great, but I just don't think it's a healthy breed. It's not something that's sustainable, so I'm not a huge fan of those. I think it's better to go with the dual purpose bird like the Barred Rocks, or some of the other ones that they have on the McMurray hatchery site. You can look at, they have dual purpose birds that you can get. There's a whole bunch of other ones also. Barred Rocks are kind of the sweet spot. They're a heritage bird. They've been around forever. They're very winter hardy. That's my preference for kind of an all-around good bird. I'm going to be using them for laying hens, and then after the first year, we're going to call the roosters and that kind of thing for meat. The other thing to consider is if you live in a subdivision or city and you can't have roosters, consider going with what's called the sex-linked. And the Isa Browns are one of those. There's also Red Star and Black Star. Those are sex-linked birds. That just means that they've been bred in a way that all the females and all the males are different colors. So you know for sure when you buy them at the feed store or online or wherever that what you're not getting any roosters. A lot of city ordinances and stuff like that won't allow it. They start to go crazy as soon as I bring this bag out. They'll all start flying over here. So, you know, that's just a little about some of the breeds of the chickens that we have. We haven't had experience with every breed of chicken, obviously, but I just wanted to share kind of that information because I know there's a lot of choices to make. There's a lot of information out there. That McMurray hatchery, if you check out their website, you can go through and they have it's categorized very nicely, and it lets you really search through and kind of make your decision. So that's just a little bit about the chickens that we have here. Looks like the goats like the goats like the tasty grubs too. The nice thing about giving them these treats too is that this is really healthy for them. This is a very natural food for chickens. So rather than giving them, you know, corn stuff, and even the scratch that you get is really with the corn and cracked corn and stuff like that. It's good to get them scratching around on the ground, but that stuff's really not great for them. Corn is really not that good for them. So, but anyway, you know, we've had chickens for quite a few years here in this environment and in the suburban coop, and we love having chickens. If you're debating on whether or not to get them, I did a video on is it worth it or not to have chickens, and they're some of the best, easiest to care for animals that you can have. They produce more than they cost in feed, and with a very small amount of space, you can have quite a few chickens. So, but if you guys have questions about raising chickens, about feeding chickens, about pretty much anything chicken related, please throw those down below. The tasty grub or tasty worms company has also offered to give a bag of their treats away. And this is a good example of the ISAs right here. This is what they do. That's 3 ISA Browns. The rooster will come in and split them up, but if you guys are interested in entering to win a free bag of this, the company's offered to send one out to a bag of treats for your flock. So all you have to do is leave a comment below of any type. Anybody who leaves a comment on the video will be entered, and I will go ahead and select in 14 days after the video has been released. I'll go ahead and select a winner, and the company will send you out a bag of their product. So I appreciate that. These guys, made in USA, I think it's down in Florida, so real good company, and they make a great product. So I appreciated them sharing this with me. As always, guys, subscribe, follow along with the channel, and thanks for watching. Have a good one.